my DJ.
Put that camera on me.
Can't believe what I just heard.
Are you good at or bad at what you're doing? You're terrible. You're the worst.
Something is wrong with you.
This is the definition of player
First Take,
hating.
the best show on television.
Stop right there. He's the best.
Definitely co-sign that sentiment.
Thanks for tuning in to First Take.
Start the damn show.
Hi, welcome to First Take. I'm George, your host, and with me today I have Trey and Trevor. On today's episode, we will be talking about a dilemma that we had someone call in. Coach Darren called in talking about his football team and how he's dealing with the financing. Take a listen to the phone call.
Hey, First Take, guys. My name is Darren Damon. I'm the athletic director at the Cardinal Rule Academy. We're located in northwestern Ohio. I have a problem for you guys, and I was wondering if you could help me out. I'll start by saying we introduced a football program to our school, and we've already had a very successful basketball team with players going to the NBA. We believe our basketball team can help fund our new football team, and we want to create the same national attention for both programs. However, we've already had multiple injuries to our already small team, and the attendance at the game has been very low. Even though we even tried to play in an NFL stadium to draw attention, it just doesn't seem to work. We don't have enough attention from the community, and we don't have enough funding from the school. I'm just running out of ways to try to support both teams. We're in financial trouble, and we have a lack of support. Can you guys please help me by giving me your advice? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that was Darren. So it sounds like he's got some problems with his school teams. A football team that's lacking support and lacking financial aid. It doesn't really seem like he's got a lot going for him right now. So I think we'll take this time to help him out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he definitely needs some help figuring out what's best for his academy.
So I took a look at the stats of his team, and they said they went 3-2 this year, and that's not awful. I would say that it could have gone a lot worse. And he said that they played in that NFL stadium. A lot of times, I know when I was in high school, my team used to go to the Ralph in Buffalo, and they would play, and that would draw a huge crowd. So it's kind of hard to believe that he doesn't have that support.
Exactly.
But
yeah, the football playing at the Cleveland Browns Stadium, I think it believes, brings more attention from the community to their games, so that would help.
Yeah, but it's just crazy to think about. It says that he only raised $36,000 for a team, and they're almost $400,000 in the red. So clearly he's not doing something right. So I think what we'll do is we'll break it down, each of his problems a little further, and we'll go into detail. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about Darren and his football program and how he needs some help. Trevor now will start to break down the finances of the football team, the basketball team, and the rest of the school, and hopefully we can give some insight on what he needs to do to better finance his teams.
So one of the main problems is football being a reasonably expensive sport to fund for a small Catholic school. It could cause many problems, obviously, as they're having. They need many boosters and past alumni to help fund for their games and equipment and stuff like that. So the question is this a good place to keep putting their money year after year after losing, you said, $400,000? Or could they put it into a better thing like the enrollment problem at their school?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a good take. I think football and I think maybe hockey are probably the two most expensive sports with all the equipment and all the training staff and everything like that. It's soccer, you just need a ball and cleats, but
Exactly.
so yeah. So Darren, to help you out, we each decided to break down your financial situation into a couple pros and cons. So we'll start by talking about a couple pros of having the football team financially, and we'll talk about a couple cons to having your football team financially. So the first one we came up with is yes, having the football team should bring in money if the team ends up taking off. A successful high school football program, usually brings not only students into the stands, but also fans from around the community. So sticking with it, you could see a result in the future.
going off that, a pro I had was if they are doing good, that puts the school on the map, puts the team on the map, so it would attract more athletes to come to that school, and it would help out their enrollment problem too.
It would also, another pro for the bringing in more money for the academy would be you could bring in some recruits who could go to NFL possibly, and that would not only bring in alumni money from not just the football team, but also the basketball team too.
Yeah, like, having more people graduate, the alumni, it doesn't have to be sports either. A lot of alumni tend to donate, and it can end up being a lot. However, we did come up with a couple cons of continuing to have the football team. So the first one I came up with is that, the obvious, you're already massively in debt. $400,000, and you've only raised, what was it, 36, 34 was around there. You already put yourself in a big hole, and it's a big hole to climb out of, and the tools you have right now don't seem like you can. So, just as like a blunt statement, it already looks kind of hard.
Well, he was saying that they were using like blue chip players for most of their seasons. That will not help them.
Like Darren said, the risk of injury, they have multiple players out right now being their best player, and they only have 24 fielded players, so multiple kids are playing both sides of the ball, which risks injury and will cost the school money overall.
Also, being that the team wasn't that great this year, it doesn't attract a lot of attention from not only just the public, but also future recruits who will bring you that alumni money in the future.
All right, so after talking about the pros and cons of the finances, we recognize another problem with the new team is the organizations and the people that Darren needs to go through in order to keep this team afloat. So Trey did a little research about some of these organizations that he needs to go through, and he's going to talk to you about them.
So the main one obviously is the Ohio High School Sport Organization, which is the governing body of athletic programs for junior and senior high schools in the state of Ohio. So this would be pretty much the main organization that he would have to deal with, because if they were to cut this football team, he would not only lose out on, they would have to change the conference, the section would change, and it would just be a hassle for the future schedules and future teams. But there are also many other organizations that would also influence that Darren has on keeping this team or cutting this team due to the financial losses, and they will talk about that.
No, that's right. So, one that I would think a lot of people would miss out or kind of look over would be a teachers or a staff committee. My old school I know had them, and I'm sure most schools have them. And it's usually a committee that might meet annually, biannually, whatever it is, and they talk about like a budget that they have, what's going on with the school. And if they're looking at the sports program and going, you guys are still in debt, it could be a huge problem to the school's overall debt. So that's a committee they're probably going to have to keep up with and have a plan for.
Another one that they possibly would be going through would be the parents of the students at the school. The parents could fear that the school might raise the tuition to keep an average football team going because they're not raising those funds.
Exactly. And the coaches and trainers who are also a part of this governing body of the team, who not only travel with but get them ready for all their practices, if they're already understaffed and under budgeted and the team's losing money, they may fear a salary cut or even fired in order to help the school fund for this football team.
All good points. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give our final opinions and we'll wrap up the show. Welcome back, guys. To wrap up the show, I'm going to have Trevor and Trey give their final takes on the situation and kind of voice whether they think that the football team should be kept or not and the reasons why.
Well, I think Darren should keep the football team, being that their basketball team has been successful. There's a chance that keeping this team can land you some top recruits to help you get national attention, which will also bring out more fans from the community and even on TV. And second point is, even though you're in debt right now, the potential with this football team is limitless. As the better your teams and seasons get each year, this can turn out to something very good for the academy to increase profit and get out of debt. And the last point I have is, at this point, you have nothing to lose, as you're already in debt, and scratching the team will just show that you gave up, and football teams can come out to be a major profit at any level.
So in my opinion, I disagree. I think Darren should cut the football program for 3 reasons. And my reasons are, they're losing money annually because an average football team that isn't bringing any positive recognition to the school right now. And another one would be, they seem to be barely fielding a team with 24 players that have, which is also bringing an injury aspect into account, where kids are playing both sides of the ball right now, and that's taking tolls on their body. And later in the season, there will be more players injured, and they maybe could possibly not field a full team. And with the cutting in the football program, they could put more money into renovating their 110-year-old building that would bring in more students and help out their recent enrollment problem.
Well, I think both points are very fair. I think in the end, though, whether you decide to get rid of the team or to keep the team, you need to have a plan, because you're already very much in debt, and you got to do something. I hope this talk was informative for you, and we hope that we can give you some good advice. All right, as we close the show, I would like to thank our sponsors, Gatorade, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you to the viewers for watching it. Tune in tomorrow, same time, with the same guys, myself, George, Trey, Trevor. Yeah,